Shadow Coast here, and welcome back to the Underhive. In this episode, we are talking about the best stats, traits, and perks for your heavy career class fighter. Before we jump in, I am actively trying to grow my channel, so I appreciate a subscribe and thumbs up. Your support is much appreciated. So without further ado, we're going to bring in a test fighter. We're just going to pick a champion ganger so we can apply lots and lots of experience to outline what we want to do. Heavy class. These are large fighters capable of wielding the heaviest weaponry. The mere presence of a heavy is enough to inspire nearby allies and sow fear among foes. And that is because they have some awesome auras that you want to take advantage of. So Heavy Barrage is their signature skill. It does require a heavy loaded weapon and that the target is 50% visible. This allows you to guard a zone from that is below you where enemies are targeted. The targets are attacked for every 3 meters moved inside the zone. Once performed, the user is unable to move or equip weapons or do anything else. And the stance is activated at the end of the turn, and the stance ends when the weapon is jammed or if the user is engaged. So it's good locking down an area or key, entryway, or exit point, or bridge as long as you're above. Now, career perks, they have Heavy Ordnance, which deals plus 200% damage to destructible elements with heavy weapons. So basically, the heavy allows us to take out barricades and other um, constructible items within, or destructible or constructible items on the battlefield. So basically, the heavy is adept at taking out barricades, lay mechanics may lay down. Weapons expert, or if they're barricades on the map that you need to destroy. They are weapons expert, which reduces the cost of field repair by 5 AP, which is necessary because all their heavy weapons will need field repairs. Bonus stats are toughness, range, aptitude, and intelligence, which tells us something about stats we are going to talk about here shortly. Now, traits. Your physical trait, they actually only have two. You can either go toughness or strength. In my opinion, it would be foolish not to have a ranged heavy. That is what they're spec to do. That is what the career class does. They have heavy weapons, which are ranged weapons. So because of that, you should prioritize toughness over strength because strength is focused on melee weapons. Now, if for whatever reason you really want to build a melee heavy, that's all good and well, but we are not going to make that assumption in this video. We're assuming your range. So you should pick toughness, resilient every time. This increases the healing you receive and your critical hit resistance. For the mental traits, I would recommend picking either intelligence or alertness because we're basically increasing our damage or penetration with intelligence as well as experience. And alertness is going to impact our initiative and give us the opportunity to take less damage. So in this case, I'm probably going to prioritize alertness over intelligence a little bit, which would be my recommendation. Now we're not actually going to save out this particular fighter, but they're injured. We just picked someone that was experienced, so we can apply experience points here in a minute. Martial traits. I would recommend range aptitude or accuracy. It really depends. So in our case, we're going to go with accuracy because our range aptitude is already pretty good because we're House Warlock. If you were another house, I would consider getting ranged aptitude in that 20 range to make sure you can land your shots against enemies. In our case, we're at 20, so I'm going to pick accuracy to increase my likelihood to crit. But range aptitude is probably your priority. Now let's look at stats. Priority of order. Number one, I would, hold on, before I say this, I want to look at something. We have to put it in. So number one stat, I would max out range aptitude fairly quickly to make sure our shots land. Number two, I would probably ping between alertness and toughness, or excuse me, alertness and agility. So basically, we want to make it hard to hit us. Then I would focus on a mix of toughness and intelligence, in my opinion. And then you would want to go through accuracy at the end, right? The crit build early on isn't really a big thing here. It's just about landing the hits. That's what's important. When they hit, our heavy weapons do a fair amount of damage, as you're going to see. So we're just applying these to unlock a bunch of stuff. Skills. Let's start with active. There are 2 active skills, and excuse me, this really depends on the team you are building. That you're going, excuse me, 2 active auras or what that are inactive skills that you're going to, excuse me, want to get. I have the hiccups. Um, Garrison is not one of them. They give, it's nice because you get some action points. But I don't, depending on how you're moving, if you're just grouping together, there's an argument here. But I would recommend, and this is a house variant, so it's kind of nice to be honest, but I would recommend picking up Aura Safeguard and Aura Precision. So let's take a look at these. Safeguard is going to increase the AP cost of offensive range skills within the aura. This is perfect regardless if you have melee or a ranged team, assuming the enemy team has ranged fighters, because you're basically reducing the damage they can output. Then you're going to want to trigger or throw on your precision aura, because this basically gives precision to your range as well as melee allies as long as they're in your aura. Now, depending on how you're kind of speccing and how you're moving your heavy, I would tend to have precision on because I like to do offensive damage and take enemies off the battlefield. But if you're playing PvP, you're probably going to want to pop on Aura Safeguard and keep everyone around your heavy. They are your central, call it buff or area unit that you want to move with or stick close to because of these presents they have. So these are 2 must-haves in my opinion. The next move here, you could get tune-up. I personally don't. I don't encounter that many destructible elements, and if I do, I could probably take them out with Gatling Frenzy or Shredding Frenzy, where I'm just hitting it multiple times, because we already do that increased damage. So I think tune-up is kind of a wasted talent. The benefit here is the hit precision with active ranged weapons. So if for whatever reason the enemy is dodging a lot and you can't hit them, you might consider this. But tune-up to me isn't quite as important as Gatling Frenzy or Shedding Frenzy. I personally prefer, so you should probably get both of these in my opinion. I personally like Gatling Frenzy. This is going to reduce the range precision of enemies, or excuse me, reduce the range precision after each shot for us, but more importantly, as long as we hit, it increases the AP cost of all skills for the target we hit. And that's huge. We're basically reducing their ability to output damage, right? Our damage is reduced, so our range precision takes a hit after each shot, so they're more likely to receive a grazing hit. So that's important to note. Shredding Frenzy is also nice because you can target 3 different targets or 3 of the same target, so shoot 3 times. We receive that 50% range precision penalty, but then this one reduces armor for the armor that is hit, and it stacks. So I recommend picking up both of these. If you're going to pick one, I would pick Gatling Frenzy in my opinion. Now, a few other areas, depending on how you pick from here. If you don't end up getting Shredding Frenzy and Tune-Up, I would recommend getting Preparation. This is a good all-around skill that's going to increase your initiative, as well as your stress resistant, and it lasts until end of battle. So this is a pretty good active for any. Readiness is also pretty good because it lasts until end of battle for range precision, and it's actually fairly nice because if you pop this on, we're kind of mitigating our drop off of precision later on so we can land hits. So I would consider getting this one. Delay is always nice. In general, it's situational. And Iron Will is, in my opinion, a must on all your fighters to get out of free jail card. Basically, if you end up in a dire situation, you pop this for a turn, it's gonna give you survivability. So as I look at this, because our toughness isn't, wait a second. Oh, hold on. Why? Willpower. Our willpower. Don't forget about willpower. Like, you don't want any stat to be totally down. Like, we're okay letting melee prowess go and strength go, because that's melee focus, and we're not doing melee focus. Um, I would recommend getting Iron Will. So for me, in my ideal situation here, I would actually end up getting, that's what, 20 readiness, 15 stress resistance, nice end of battle, delays only until next turn. I would probably get preparation over delay because we get this lasting initiative throughout. So let's talk about heavy passive skills in general. There are pretty good ones. I personally recommend formation. We're going to get this damage absorption on ourselves. And I'm going to move my units with my heavy in general. I always have one, if not two other units in there. And I would upgrade formation all the way up. Weapon barrier is a must. If you, as long as you're using a heavy weapon, which is the assumption here, you want to upgrade this ASAP because you get initiative, you get melee evasion, and range evasion. This is by and far the best passive, in my opinion, for a heavy. This is ridiculous. You're getting 15% range evasion, melee evasion, and initiative, 30 initiative. That's hard to beat. Okay, I personally like Guardian. So as long as we use an aura, or if we're carrying anything, we're going to get range evasion. In general, I play from a range style. This makes sense because I'm more likely to receive range damage because I prioritize the melee targets. I would also get, so we will pick that up. I like Guardian. Reinforce is also pretty, in my opinion, a pretty good move. So if we're gonna, it reduces the cost of shoot by 35%. So if we field repair, we can maybe get another shot off. I also like excuse me, where is it? Retribution. If we suffer a ranged attack, we reduce the aura cost of safeguard and the cost of Overwatch. So to be honest, I would pick one of these. Um, it's up to you. I'd probably pick Reinforce over Retribution because we don't know if they're going to attack our heavy at any given time. But they're both pretty good. And we have some decent ones. Like Iron Spirit isn't that bad. Revel in Blood. Nope. Where is trying to look for it. I thought, oh, here it is. Iron Zeal. So this is House of Arian. I personally like Iron Zeal. Plus range precision, plus 10% range critical hit chance after we use Overwatch. And ideally we're going to end each turn with an Overwatch, so Iron Zeal is pretty nice. So let's talk about weapons. Well, very simply put, make sure you have a heavy weapon on your heavy. I personally prefer, and let me see if I can see one. No. I want to see if I sold one recently. I personally prefer the autocannon. You're shooting multiple times. It has the opportunity to um, proc. Hold on, where's our? There we go. So I personally prefer auto cannons just because it has more shots um, in general, and for enemies that are going to dodge or receive glancing or grazing hits, we're just in general the auto cannons, the bolt guns, um, the auto guns, they're in general just better because you're outputting more damage in my opinion. Um, Outside of that, when we talk about uh, implants in general, I would follow thinking about grabbing things that increase range, aptitude, or accuracy. To be honest, you could get some toughness, willpower, intelligence, alertness, stuff like that would be good. I would prioritize ranged aptitude and alertness just to try to get those up a little bit to make sure that we can deliver the damage we're looking to deliver. So, not much to say. I'm not sure if you decide to do a heavy melee build. I don't have a lot for you. It's just not my personal playstyle. But please feel free to post and let me know what you think. So, I personally think heavy is one of the most fun class. It has a lot of versatility. The auras are extremely important. And every team I field, including my Goliath Brawler teams, will have a heavy on it because those auras are clutch and in general they're just overall really good fighters. So those are my thoughts on heavy. Thanks so much for watching. Please consider subscribing. I could appreciate the support. I am trying to grow my channel and we hope to see you in future videos. Shadow Coast out.